going on, movie lovers everywhere? This is RJ Game News USA back today with another movie review, but we're just going to go over what the critics are saying about Flight Risk and why I chose not to go see it in theaters. So, thanks for watching, and please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get right into it. Flight Risk got an awful score of 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is downright absolutely fucking terrible. And we're going to get into why. But first, let me talk about what made me intrigued about Flight Risk and then why I chose not to watch it. I was intrigued with the casting of Wahlberg and Topher Grace. However, I feel like if this had been a movie that came out 15, 20 years ago, they would be more cast for a comedy than what Hollywood decided they should do this year, which comes off as a bizarre movie almost. The runtime is rather quick at an hour 31 minutes. But even with that being said, and even in a slow movie month, this movie got universally panned as awful. And I want to go over those reviews right now. So, Perrot Baines gave it a Rotten Tomato, saying Gibson's handcuffed camera work is the amalgamation of the same few close-ups, mightily laboring to foster a sense of tension and dread that would otherwise cloak how ready-made this film looks for profitable background streaming. Okay. Brian Viner with a excuse me, with a Rotten Tomato says it makes the mistake of trying to cram in way too much narrative. Eric Marchin with a Rotten Tomato says descending to DTV levels of boredom, it felt like checked out director Mel Gibson left the trashy action thriller on autopilot for the entire duration. The Times of India says, with a Rotten Tomato, despite its action thriller premise, Flight Risk lacks the sharpness and excitement needed to elevate it beyond mediocrity. Jeremy Jans, with a Rotten Tomato, says, there are simply no surprises from the script and the majority of the performance. This is a surface level and derivative thriller that aims to take your money without offering any real payoff. We do have a positive review from Nate Adams, who gave it a fresh tomato, saying, ultimately, Flight Risk is an unserious movie that knows how absurd it is. And that's about all you can expect from a film released in the dog days of January. So even the highest praise from the critics is, don't take this movie seriously, just sit back and chill and enjoy. That's sad. How about a Rotten Tomato by Rick Bentley, who says Wahlberg's effort to make Daryl as evil as possible included an endless string of offensive sexual comments. He just doesn't have the acting skills to make the dialogue work. Whoa, buddy! Rick Bentley is calling out Wahlberg's acting skills in this review. Todd Jurgensen, with a Rotten Tomato, says this ludicrous airborne thriller is only tolerable if you leave your brain on the tarmac. That's funny. Even then, it never really gets off the ground since it refuses to fully embrace its campy silliness. It's silly on its face, and they don't embrace it. Frank Wilkins, with a Rotten Tomato, says, thriller fans, do yourself a favor. Revisit the high-flying tension of Red Eye, or the unapologetic fun of snakes on a plane instead? Best to leave flight risk on the tarmac. William Babini with a Rotten Tomato says, anyway, it's also weird to find a mediocre straight-to-DVD action movie inside of a major movie theater instead in the bargain bin at Big Lots in 2010. Wow, that is what it feels like too. Really, it really does. I honestly, I gotta be honest with you guys. Guilty pleasure. I'll probably check this movie out, but not in the theaters. It might be one of those so bad it's good movies. Maybe, maybe. I don't know. I could just be crazy. Clint Worthington with a Rotten Tomato. By the way, Clint Worthington sounds like the most like movie reviewer, movie critique kind of name you could ever find. Just saying. Clint says the lean 90-minute runtime is a very tempting sell for a lean chamber price like this, but what happens in that 90 minutes has to actually entertain, which is where flight risk runs into some real turbulence. Wah wah. Keith Garlington with a Rotten Tomato says, over the years, Gibson has proven himself to be an exceptional filmmaker, but it's hard to see Flight Risk as anything other than a misfire. Again, big name director Mel Gibson. You got 2 stars, Topher Grace and Mark Wahlberg. You got a lot of ingredients of what could be a good movie, but instead you shit out some slop that should be in the Big Lots from 2010, according to these reviewers. Mark Dushkis, whatever, with a Rotten Tomatoes, said Flight Risk is repetitive and dull. By the way, guys, I do want to point out, we do know that Red One got really bad reviews from the critics, and then the fan score was way higher, and I tended to agree with the fan score. I actually enjoyed the movie. I don't have an audience score available right now, but I'm really curious to see how much higher the audience score is going to be than the critic score. Is it going to be one of these Red One situations or not? But I watched Red One on Amazon. I didn't go to the theaters for it, and I'm glad I waited, and it was fine. Steven Silver will make this the last review with a Rotten Tomatoes, says, Flight Risk is dumb fun and somewhat of a success on that level, but Gibson's directorial efforts have tended to aim higher than dumb fun. And with that, guys, that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments below, are you going to watch Flight Risk? Have you seen it? What do you think of it? But until next time, peace. I'm flying out of here. Have a good one.